call, and the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
And welcome into the Pod at the Palace post-game show presented by Bet Saracen, Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis here with you to discuss Arkansas's 98-58 exhibition win over the Canadian champions, Carleton College. Hey, listen, we told you it was going to be a very different type of basketball game than what we saw yesterday against the Bahamas team. It turns out that was the case. Arkansas actually got pushed for 10, 15 minutes or so. Then they figured some things out. We got a lot of good performances to talk about, and we're going to get into all that. Once again, appreciate everybody for their patience. We were in the press conference talking to Coach Chin Coleman. We talked to J.J. Andrews, talked to Jeremiah Wilkinson, and then we found out that Valparaiso took our spot. We got kicked out of Media Row where we were going to do the post-game show because they were having a practice in there. So we had to move to the media area. And so that's why it took us a little bit longer. I know we said we'd be quicker to you. We were a little bit later, but seems like a lot of people stuck around and we appreciate that. But Andrew, it was a little bit dicey there for a few minutes. They figured it out. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. What'd you make of the game?
Well, I hope that, the game honestly matches the vibe that we have with this post-game because we're hoping that you guys can continue to hear and see us or whatever. But ultimately they figured it out. And I think that we're going to figure it out as well. I spend a lot of my life, Curtis, in my career, making fun of fans who overreact to the littlest things, take things too seriously, get too worked up. And, they'll be complaining about, solid baseball wins in the middle of April. And I'm like, guys, you guys take these things too seriously. You're getting too worked up for no reason. I felt a little bit of that myself tonight. I felt myself being that way where I'm just grumpy. I'm like, dude, they're just not playing well. I leaned over to you at one point, Curtis, and I was like, they're in a dogfight. This is a dogfight. Like, this is going to be a close game. And I think you even just laughed and were like, no, they're not. Like, they're not in a
This is usually the script is flipped where I'm the one's like, I don't know, man. High Point's about to get them. And
I felt myself very, early on. I'm like, man, they're just not playing well. I don't know, man. And then, of course, they're up 52-27 at halftime. They got up by 40 at one point during this game. Anytime the starters were in the game for Arkansas, anytime they had some semblance of the starting lineup in there, it was dominant. It was thorough. There were some really good individual performances that I'm sure we're going to talk about. I felt like Arkansas continues to share the ball really well. They continue to play very good defense. They continue to have a lot of fun and impress us along the way. So I don't want to say I have no complaints. I've got a couple complaints, but for the most
whatever. It could be very easy, I think, to lose focus a little bit at times out there. It could be, maybe you're not quite as intense as you were in the first game. Legs are a little bit tired. You're feeling good about yourselves. But then also, the Bahamas team, they were unorganized. They were holding tryouts to put a team together. They haven't done a lot of practicing together. So they are unorganized. So you can get off script a little bit. You know what I mean? You can gamble a little bit more. And you don't have to run your plays. You don't have to be as disciplined out there. And this Carleton team will make you pay for that kind of stuff. And that's what they were doing early in the basketball game. And, then Arkansas kind of settled in. It's like Chin Coleman. He said he loved that they needed that. And then they figured it out. They got things going and they pulled away. I thought Jeremiah Wilkinson kind of bailed Arkansas out when they were struggling a little bit early. And then everybody else got it going. Obviously, Jordan Smith Jr. with a triple-double, a lot of good performances to get into. But this is kind of what we were hoping for from a standpoint of at some point, can they face just a teensy bit of some adversity in there? Can they get pushed by somebody? Can they have to really lock in and focus and execute and get those stops to stretch out a lead or something? We got that in game 2. Now I just hope they beat everybody by 60 moving forward.
Yeah, when we talked to Kenny Payne yesterday, he was thrilled about the competitive spirit of the game. The fact that they were kind of back and forth. And, good competitive possessions. We talked to Chin Coleman tonight. He also felt, he's like, man, I loved it. I was so fired up about that. And I think that's a theme that you're going to hear a lot from us, from the coaching staff, the players, or whatever. That's what this is all about. You're coming here to get reps, coming here to get experience, coming here to get better. Arkansas is doing all of those things, and it's a lot more fun to learn when you're whipping ass, which is what Arkansas has been doing here a lot lately. You mentioned it, that Carleton takes a lot better care of the basketball than the Bahamas team yesterday. And Arkansas had 32 blocks and steals combined. I don't know what they ended up with in this game. What does it look like? 20, something like that? No, 16 in this game. So they cut that in half.
Yeah.
And for Arkansas to still be able to score over 100 points, for Arkansas to still finish with a ton of fast break points, and to still force some turnovers there a little bit, I thought that was very encouraging. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's one of those things where it's easy when you're playing a team like the Bahamas who's just loose with the ball, throwing it all over, giving you opportunities to make deflections. Well, it's a little bit easy to get out and run and play your game and do what you want to do. Good to see that no matter what the style of play ends up being, Arkansas is going to be able to some way, in some form or fashion, dictate the pace, dictate the tempo, and play their game a little bit. And, of course, you got to lean on your stars. Arkansas did that with Jeremiah Wilkerson. I thought Jordan Smith Jr., through 2 games here at the Bahamas, good feel for the game. If anyone was worried about this point guard, is he going to be able to handle being a floor general and all that? I mean, he's going to have some days where he maybe doesn't look as great as others. I'm sure he's going to have some games where he turns the ball over a lot. He seems to be in complete control of this game, and I like what we saw from some other individuals in this game. Overall, I feel like it was, again, just exactly what Arkansas needed, and they were ready for exactly what Carleton presented to them.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to them. Like Chen said, you got to give them credit for coming out there and pushing you a little bit. But yeah, it doesn't matter to me if you're playing the Canadian national champions, the JUCO national champions, whoever, in your second game. I don't care if it's an exhibition either, with a brand new team, for Jordan Smith to go out there and put up a triple-double is crazy. I know that's not the first one that he's had.
No.
He's probably had several of them in high school. I know he's done it in on the EYBL and everything. I think, I wanted to ask him. We actually didn't get him, which was crazy, but we had him yesterday. Okay, fine. But it was points, rebounds, assists today. He could probably at some point, against a mid-major or somebody with a shaky point guard, get 10 steals. Like, he's probably got multiple avenues to getting a triple-double. There's not too many people out there, but it goes to the intangibles that he brings to the table, and he just impacts winning in so many different ways. He doesn't have to score a bunch of points to have that kind of impact. And then with Wilkinson, it's crazy because he could barely move this time yesterday. He was not moving. I mean, we even said on the postgame show, like, I just don't see how he's going to be able to go out there and play maybe later in the week, but I thought they were going to give him today off. And then sure enough, he's at shoot around, and then he's out there, the first guy at warm-ups, and he looked great. He was like making up for lost time out there. He hits 5 threes, and then he gets fouled 3 times shooting the 3 ball. And he was electric out there, a microwave scorer for all. That backcourt is so much fun. You throw in Davion Thompson into the mix. You think about the wings with JJ and Abdu and Billy, who didn't play particularly well today. And then he took a fall on his back, and he didn't even play in the second half. But I'm so excited about what Arkansas's got going on the perimeter, on the wings. When they get Mika, I feel so good about the 4. And now it's just, you got this hodgepodge of different options at the 5. Mm-hmm. And as soon as they figure out what that's going to look like, they really got something to work with here. 2 games in, all my questions are not answered. There's still some things up front that I want to see in the next couple games, but I'm very, very pleased with a lot of what we're seeing from Arkansas here, and they're taking care of business with big wins.
Yeah, make no mistake. Arkansas is very rarely going to play games in the regular season or the postseason where the gap in talent, the gap in size, the gap in athleticism is as stark as it has been in these first 2 games here, especially here today. So we're not trying to, sell you on this idea that this is just, hey, this is just who Arkansas is. They just win games by 40. It's going to be like this all the time. But what I do like to see, Curtis, is this identity, which is something that as a basketball team, it takes you a long time usually, and this team's certainly going to still evolve. That identity is going to grow, get more definitive as the year goes on. But we watched a lot of teams in our time covering the Razorbacks where they maybe didn't find any version of consistency until December, January. And I don't just mean in the results of their margin of victory. I mean on the things you do, go into each game kind of knowing this is who we are. This is how we play. I look at the assist to turnover ratio, 24 assists to 10 turnovers, which is always a good number. That's something Arkansas did a lot really well last year. Seems to be something that's
23 and 10 yesterday, right?
I think it was like right around the exact same range there. And again, it's not going to be that exact number every game. But what I like about that is it's not like Arkansas is playing the exact same lineup, the exact same rotations, exact same opponent, exact same anything, but the results are very similar. Again, those are going to evolve a little bit, but I like to see the things that this team is going to hang their hats on: getting out and running, playing good defense, having a ton of athleticism, having multiple guys who can space the floor, by the way, especially with Jeremiah Wilkinson out there today, that no matter what, in Arkansas, again, no Billy Richmond today. You didn't have Jeremiah Wilkinson yesterday. You haven't had Mika in any of these games. You haven't had Paolo Samito in any of these games. Different guys played different amounts. They played Caleb Arrigo a little bit more in this game today. He was in there. Ilya Frolov got a good bit of action there. It doesn't matter who's in the game. It doesn't matter what the opponent is. Arkansas likes to play their specific brand of basketball, and they have a very good idea of what they want to do as a team. Will they do it every single time? Maybe not, but I like seeing such a firm, clear top to bottom identity with this team. And it doesn't really matter, although of course it's at a much higher level when you have that starting lineup in there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I really like the way that starting lineup looks, and I'm starting to feel more and more comfortable with a couple guys who kind of rotate in off the bench. They like to do the 4-man in subs at kind of mass subs at a time there, but then in the second half they'll start mixing and matching a little bit, and I'm starting to get more comfortable with Davion in there. I love Abdou Toure mixed in with those groups. He's got the start in the second half in the last 2 games, right? And so they're starting to figure some things out, get a little bit more chemistry and flow going, and obviously still tons to work on. But here's what I love about it the most. Shout out to John Calipari for adapting. They'd say that he's stuck in his ways. He goes out and recruits a bunch of freshmen or whatever, but depth has also been a big issue for Arkansas the last couple of years. They've had major injuries to key parts of their rotation that have hampered them once they've gotten into the NCAA tournament a little bit. And they went out and they addressed it. They knew they need some more bodies. They went out and got 12 guys that they think you could put in a basketball game and can help you. And you're seeing that pay off right away here in the exhibitions, because Mika not cleared yet. Paolo hurt, not able to be out there. You had Wilkinson yesterday. Today, you've got Maper Maker who fell and hit his head. They said precautionary. It's August the 1st. No need to put him back out there. You got an off day tomorrow, but he's unavailable for most of the game. Billy is out after halftime.
Your only stability, your only returning guy. He goes out.
Exactly.
Nobody even notices.
So you've got all that going on, and you still have a solid core rotation of 8 guys that you can put in there. And they were able to extend the lead in the second half and put those guys away. And you were able to get good work in for some of the guys who needed it in there. So I'm very, very pleased with the depth. I think they're going to need it at certain positions as they kind of try to figure some things out and piece it together. But I'm glad that Chin brought that up, because, man, in past years that they had come and done this the last couple of years, you had a couple of those things going on. I mean, it's like, all right, Melo Sanchez, get in there, buddy, because we got nothing else. It'd be like Alabama and Tuscaloosa all over again. We don't have to worry about that with this team.
Well, you know what I really like, Curtis, is there's obviously always going to be a hierarchy in the rotation. No matter what, it's always going to get shortened at some point, whether that's going into SEC play, going into March Madness when guys get hurt or whatever. Arkansas is not going to play 12 guys throughout the entire course of the season, but you get to have an actual bidding war, a little bit of a fight to see who's going to get those minutes. You got to go out there and fight and scratch and claw to get those minutes, whether you're an older guy, because there's an older guy or two on. You've got younger guys who are pushing the envelope a little bit. Seems like they want more and more minutes. I like that, and I also like that in these 2 games we've seen so far, Arkansas kind of has that definitive hierarchy of like, hey, our starting 5 guys, and I'll even throw Abdou Toure in there. When we want to, we can stretch this lead at any given moment. We can go to our top guys. We're still going to get to the developmental work for the young guys. We're still going to play a little bit of a rotation, but when we want, we can go get the gun. We can go get it at any point. And I love to see that, because as you get close, further and further into the season, you're going to lean on those top guys a lot more. So I think that's a really good sign. And hey, it may evolve. The guys that we view as the top guys now, it might not be the top guys, although, Jordan Smith Jr., Jeremiah Wilkinson, those guys are going to be the top guys no matter what. But that top 7 or 8 may look different in January than it looks right now. I like that you kind of have that already understood of like, man, we could go to these guys. Because I think as you get to, like Jordan Smith Jr., what did he play minutes-wise in this game? He played 29-42. He maybe played a little bit more than that. Arrigo played 18. That's probably a good number. Billy played 10 minutes in this game.
Mm-hmm.
J.J. Andrews played 22. Abdou Toure played 27, which is awesome. Davion Thompson played 25. Like, those minutes are going to be very different. There's going to be games where Arkansas doesn't play, 12 guys, and it's going to look a little bit different. And I like knowing that anytime they want, they can go out there and just kind of stretch that lead.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit. So we've talked about a lot of the good. And for example, 3-point shooting, I want to bring that up. I said before they came into this thing, that's not something that I'm concerned about with this team. And they went 6 of 20 in the first game. And we kind of had to do the thing where we're like, man, it's first game, whatever. Wilkerson wasn't out there. Mika wasn't out there. It's your two best shooters, whatever. Still didn't have Mika today. They come out and go 11 of 25 from three. And that's the type of, you get when you get half of them essentially from Jeremiah Wilkerson, that helps. But it was good to see them knock down a bunch of shots. It wasn't one of those situations like, well, they're just long, they're athletic, they're going to force a million turnovers and get out and score a bunch of fast break points. They don't have to shoot threes. See them in situations where you get quality looks, you take them and you knock them down, and they were able to do that. The better this team shoots from three, the more threats they have out there, the easier life is going to be for Jordan Smith Jr. getting downhill, or JJ Andrews, who's just a physical specimen when he's driving to the rim. Billy, all these slashers that they have. I like the balance that we saw from that standpoint today. And, then there were some things, of course, that they need to work on. I'm looking at it, and yes, they need to figure out some things at the five. I'm encouraged by what we saw from Caleb Arrigo, with 10 points, 6 boards, and playing some extended minutes in there. He's still raw, as everybody could see, but the potential is very, very real there. They're going to want to get some more out of Cooper Bowser, who was up and down in this game. He had some moments where I thought, man, there we go. That's kind of what we were hoping to see. Some others that, that left a little bit to be desired. And then, what's the rest of the mix going to look like? How does Mika factor into that if they're doing some small ball? Maper, are they going to be able to use him at that spot some? They're going to have to figure out how to piece that thing together a little bit. Rebounding, they gave up 16 offensive rebounds in the game. Well, Carleton missed a ton of shots. So there was a lot of opportunities for them to go grab them. They also got 25 offensive rebounds in their game against Bucknell, which is a lot. And so it's something to do. But a lot of it to me was there was some fatigue moments. I saw, like with Arrigo, for example, he was so tired he couldn't even get his arms over his head for a stretch there. Gave up a couple offensive boards. A couple guys like Frolov, for example, who I thought showed well again, into his hands, and then gets a little contact and he loses it. You got to secure that thing. So I want to see him get better on the boards, a little bit better at the 5 position. We knew that going into this, that it wasn't going to be perfect. And hopefully over the course of the next 2 games, we see him continue to make some strides there, because some guys did, Caleb being one of them.
Yeah, when I mentioned at the top, there was times where I kind of felt myself annoyed. And then I look up at the box score and I kind of look into the numbers and I'm like, I have no reason to be annoyed. There was a moment where I'm like, man, I haven't really been thrilled with Arkansas's defense in this game. And then you look up, they held those dudes to 31% from the floor.
Yeah.
They shot 35 threes. Now that also is why their field goal percentage was a little bit lower, because you're shooting a ton of long-range shots. You give up 10 threes, which sounds bad. You held them to 29% from three-point range. You mentioned some of those offensive rebounds. Another thing that is a byproduct of a team shooting a ton of threes, long rebounds. Box outs don't matter as much on threes whenever you get in those big bounces a little bit. And we were a little bit worried about, hey, if this team doesn't let Arkansas get out and run, what's Arkansas's, maybe not perfect. And of course they weren't facing the greatest, goal line defense of all time out there. But I thought Arkansas's half court offense, they had a lot of flow, a lot of assists, a lot of guys. Lobs, threes, driving, finishing at the rim. They were really good and really efficient against not a lot of size at the rim. I thought Arkansas's half court offense and half court defense, both really good in this game. And that was what we knew Carleton was going to test with them.
Yeah. No, that's very true. And, I want to touch on this real quick and appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. And we're going to get to your chats here that are related to this game in a minute, but I'm seeing a lot of people already doing the thing of they got to get Handlogden. They go get Mark Mitchell. They go get Cam Fence. And just, over and over and over, any big man who is now gifted eligibility, everybody's like, you got to go do that. You got to go do that.
Who, by the way, may or may not. I think Handlogden probably is, but it's like, I think everyone thinks, this is going to be this world where just everybody plays. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah. And I can just tell you right now that, we're out here on this island with Arkansas and with this coaching staff, and they love the team that they have. And this is not something that Calipari is a big fan of. So I wouldn't anticipate him unless they were really in dire straits to have to go out and, try to add somebody in the midnight hour. And honestly, they also, by the way, don't think that this is going to hold up. They're under the impression that this is something that's just going to, wind up getting overturned or whatever. The NCAA is getting ready to fight this. And you could be in a situation where a lot of guys commit to schools, and before the season starts, they realize, okay, you're actually not going to be able to play, or you get 5 games in and it's okay, that's not really going to happen. So barring like an injury or something crazy like that, I'd be really surprised if they tried to do anything like this. And frankly, I understand the allure of it because you see all these shiny new toys that come out there. But what kind of message does that send to your life? like that. And it's like, you know what, man, we got to go get another guy. Screw these other dudes that we talked up out here for, their contributions, who've been working, all summer with the team, and, forget everything we said about, going with a young roster and believing in these guys and all that, that we're going to go out here and get a mercenary who, got cleared based on a judge or whatever. So if I'm a Razorback fan, I get it. I want to see, the 5 spot improve over the course of the next couple of days, but I also want to go to war with these guys in here, because this is who they picked. I think Arkansas built this roster the right way. This is what college basketball is all about. And I do not blame the players one bit who are getting, gifted a 5th year of eligibility here for pursuing that. Why wouldn't you? I think that's okay. But at the same time, I do have a fundamental issue with how many players did Arkansas beat out BYU for over the course of this offseason. Well, now they're just going to go out and get a couple mercenaries as a consolation prize for that. And then you're going to see them ranked ahead of Arkansas. I don't think that's right. And I don't want Arkansas to have to feel like they've got to do, subscribe to groupthink to go attack that. Texas Tech didn't do a damn thing in the portal. Now they're going to get an entire roster for them because they're getting a judge to sign off on, a bunch of 5th year players who nobody thought was going to be eligible. And frankly, if you're going to do this, the timing was off on it. You shouldn't do it in August. So I get it. I understand. Yet the Malik Ewan tweet or whatever, that Arkansas, I understand the allure of it. And, it's like, man, just one piece and you could really push this thing over the top. So I don't bemoan any Razorback fans who feel like they need to go do something like that or they could be benefited from it. But try to look at it from the standpoint of Cal is very, very much digging his heels in the sands, wanting to do this. You can call it the old school way, the traditional way, the way that he feels like is best for the direction of college basketball, as opposed to this random blanket waiver that's going to be a one-off for 1 year, maybe 1 week or 1 month, and going out there and hiring mercenaries to come help your basketball team. I think it should be an endearing thing for this Arkansas basketball team personally.
No, I'm with you. And not to go all like facts over feelings or anything like that. I want to be clear about what's going on here. Because again, we are operating in real life, in the real world, while we're here operating with this team, talking to these guys, trying to figure out what's actually happening. If you want to make the argument and say, Arkansas should have gone out there and gotten some 24-year-old guy, and I wish they would have gotten this guy, you could absolutely make that argument. And I won't even really push back that hard against it, because there were definitely times in the offseason where we were like, oh, maybe they can get this guy. Maybe they can get this guy. It's not even a bad argument. I would just at least ask that you try and actually make it compelling, string together sentences that are unique, and try and make that argument. That's different than saying they are going to do that, because, again, we're here. They're playing games in the Bahamas. This is not a team that they're not in that room, right? They're literally right across from us as we're doing this. They are not on the phone right now being like, crap, dude, we hate Cooper Bowser. We got to go find a guy. They've got their team. They like their team. They think they can win with their team. You don't have to agree with that. We'll see throughout the course of the year whether or not it's going to be good enough. But I don't think it really does anybody any good to be kind of bemoaning this thing of could we maybe change now? Is it time? Could we maybe leave Cooper Bowser in the Bahamas? And maybe it's like, that doesn't really help anybody. And again, if you feel that way of they should have done something differently, that's fine. But just know that you are living in the past. That is it's kind of already done. And that's not to say that they couldn't legalistically maybe find a way around it. It's just not something that is going to happen, or at least that's not what we expect at this given moment.
Right. And if I was you guys, I would say be more irritated from the standpoint of, Arkansas, and I tweeted this out earlier today, they could go sign Micah Hanlogden right now, and they could fly him to the Bahamas, and he could play on Monday. But Mika Murinen's been with the team since April, and he's yet. There just seems like there's something off from that standpoint to me. That's something to be all right with. And again, not trying to tell anybody how to feel. If you think man, they should go do this, you're well within your rights to feel that way. I would have loved for them to get another, more experienced, productive piece or whatever for that front court. But what I'm trying to do is give you a little bit of advice of maybe the best way to approach it when it comes to viewing this basketball team, because Cal ain't gonna do it. I don't want you to get your hopes up for something that is very, very unlikely to happen. Again, barring if there was some unforeseen circumstance where, they just said, "Hey, Mika, sorry, you can't play college basketball." Well, then they probably just try to break a rule to get him cleared or something. Or if there was a season-ending injury or something like that, and it forced your hand. But with the team assembled as it is, and everybody healthy and all those pieces, It's just he's not going to do it. And so I don't want everybody every time, well, why not hand lock him? Why not this guy? Why not that guy? Well, because it's not the way John Calipari is going to do things here. That's all.
And because it's August 1st, 2nd. What is it for August 1st or 2nd?
It is August 1st. Yeah.
August 1st. It's like, I'm not saying the ship has sailed, but the ship has sailed a little bit. And by the way, that's part of why, the people around the program think there's a decent chance that this thing doesn't hold up. Me as a person, hard time for this thing to hold up. The NCAA quite literally put out a statement today saying it's most likely not going to hold up. That's a big part of it because there are teams. Now, Arkansas is not the only person or only team. John Calipari's not the only person in this position. There are a lot of teams who have built their rosters. They have, played by the rule. Played by the rules is a stretch because nobody really does that. But again, it's August 1st. Everyone's kind of already built their roster. And now these teams that are set are now like, well, damn, we're now at a disadvantage because you're all of a sudden adding thousands of guys. So the teams that didn't do a good job building their roster, they're the ones that benefit from this. This is why the NCAA is pushing back against that. And so again, trying to get in a rush to put your eggs in a basket that may or may not even exist while we're over here in the Bahamas talking about the actual team that just played a game out on the floor. I think it's just much more productive to talk about that, but maybe I'm crazy.
I would agree. We are going to get into your chats though. And we'll discuss this a little bit more, I'm sure. And maybe it's something that we can talk a little bit more in depth on with tomorrow being an off day in between games and stuff like that. We can dive into it a little bit deeper on the pod for those who are really interested in it, because I get it. It's a hot topic of conversation, but also don't bail on your guys after 2 exhibition games.
Right,
they won both of them by like a combined 100 points. What are we doing here? Come on, man. Come on. Hey, shout out to our partners over at OZK Insurance. Appreciate them for all their help and support throughout the course of our trip here in the Bahamas. They're an independent insurance agency, which means they're not tied down to just one insurance company. They're going to shop all the A-rated carriers to find the best combination of coverage, value, and price for you. Insurance rates are the most competitive they've been in nearly 3 years, and that makes right now one of the best times to compare your coverage and see if you could save, and everybody wants to do that. They also have that full service mobile app where you can view all of your policies in one place. That's home, auto, business, whatever you have. You can pay your bills, request roadside assistance, file a claim, make policy changes, or even request a new quote, all from the convenience of your phone. So you're going to get the best of both worlds, choice of personal service in a local independent agency with the convenience of modern technology. Look them up today. Visit ozkinsurance.com or search OZK Insurance in the App Store or Google Play. It's a local service with national level options. Today's best rates, one powerful app. That's OZK Insurance. Okay, let's hop into the chats here and see how everybody's doing. We got a few clips in here that we'll play for you guys as well. I always like it when we get to talk to Chin Coleman. He's a great quote.
Dude
man.
can talk, man.
And he's a talker. I halfway blame him for us being a little bit delayed, but it was really good to hear from him. Loved hearing from Jeremiah Wilkerson and JJ Andrews. A couple great interviews. Those will be up over on our YouTube channel, so make sure you check those out as well. Okay, let's get into this. We'll start with the super chats first. From Hayden Ulmer, he said, good teams win, great teams cover 30.5. I guess I shouldn't be stunned. I was surprised to see that Saracen had looked like not only a line, but an over-under, some props, and all kinds of stuff. We couldn't do anything with it because we're not in the state of Arkansas. But what did you make of that? I didn't expect them to do that. They didn't do it yesterday, right?
I don't believe they did. I love it. And shout out to Saracen because they're usually very good about capitalizing on these opportunities, realizing, hey, the entire state's dialed in on this thing. Since we're the only, we're do it if you're in the state of Arkansas. There's a lot of fans that would like to get in on this action that are watching this game. It makes a lot of sense. Like you said, we're in the Bahamas. We couldn't get in on this. I'm glad Arkansas covered because I texted multiple people and was like, I'll Venmo you. Let me get in on that action because I can't place a bet. You got to do it for me. I was like, Hillary, put next month's rent on Arkansas. And it got a little dicey there down the stretch. Arkansas got up 34. Then it got back down to 22.
10-0 run at one point.
Yeah,
like, hey,
and then they get it back up to 40, and it's like, all right, we're all good.
Yes, for sure. From Jason, he says, thanks, guys, for what you do. I think Jeremiah was the man. Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate the super chat. Jeremiah was awesome. And it's you could tell, and he said as much in the postgame that he was kind of going crazy on the sidelines yesterday. Obviously, he took the hard spill, couldn't get back out there, and he knew he wouldn't be able to go back out there yesterday. But he was amped up to get out there and play his first game as a Razorback, which one quote real quick. I don't want to get too far off track, but the guys were asked about the jerseys, the uniforms. And listen, I know it's a hot topic. Do we believe in the black uniforms or not? Are we happy about it or not? Whatever. And they asked if the players like it. And Jeremiah looked down and he goes, it's got a Razorback on it. I love it. He just won you all over, didn't he?
Yeah.
And so that was a pretty cool moment there. But I know he was amped up, and it was great to see him healthy back out there in the starting lineup. And then he kind of carried the team when they were trying to figure it out early, and just electric. And he's one of those guys where
great quote as well, man. He was
great
awesome.
quote as well. And you love it when a guy lets go over 3, and you can just hear the whole crowd winding up. Oh,
getting out of your chair a little bit.
Love that, man. And yeah, he was a great quote. Shout out to John Rothstein for giving him a shout out. I gave him and JJ Andrews both a shout out in the end of the game. So.
I love that. By the way, I also wanted to ask JJ. I was like, hey, what do you think your dad? Because he said he likes it. I also wanted to ask, hey, what does your pops think about it? Because Sean Andrews at this point is an old head. He played in the Razorback red. He never played in no anthracite uniform. He never played in a black uniform. I wondered if maybe his dad had an opinion on this. Maybe we'll almost certainly see him around the resort. Might have to ask him.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I like it. From one Cubs fan, he says, gentlemen, appreciate the coverage. Do you have any concerns with Davion Thompson's handles once the competition level rises, the youngsters on this team? Woo.
I wonder if he means how Davion Thompson will handle the jumping competition, or is he specifically saying like his ball handling?
If it's his ball handling, I'm going to say no, but I acknowledge what you're getting at here, because yesterday, his first rotation, the guys were, really getting up in him. They were being physical with him, a lot of ball pressure. He didn't handle that particularly well in his first stint, but you could see him adjust, and he was so much better and more comfortable throughout the rest of the game. I didn't really notice it that much today. Maybe there are a couple instances, but understand that he's only going to get better and better from here. He's going to be thinking less because he's going to understand the offense and know what he's doing out there while he's trying to initiate. He's going to be deeper into the strength and conditioning program where he's stronger and more physically ready to be able to handle that stuff. So, he's going to have tougher challenges that are coming his way, and there's going to be a learning curve and an adjustment period there. Of course, he's supposed to be going into his senior year of high school, but I think that his arc of improvement and development is also going to be going in a similar direction. I think he's going to be just fine, but I understand what you're getting at for sure.
100%. And yeah, I think it's going to be, a growing process. He's going to be better as the year goes on. And I like that he's in a position where, he played 25 minutes tonight. He's not going to play 25 minutes every game, and especially if he doesn't handle that jump in competition a little bit, they can kind of evolve his role a little bit. I don't know if you guys heard, Arkansas's got a pretty good point guard. So if we do live in a world where we get to November, December, January, and we're like, I just don't know if Davion's quite ready to have a big role. Well, thank God we got Jordan Smith Jr. Thank God we got Abu Torre. Thank God we got Billy Richmond. We got Jeremiah Wilkerson. Arkansas's got options in the backcourt. So I don't think Davion is in a position where it's like he has to be awesome or we're screwed. So that's what I feel good about, and I feel very confident player he's going to wind up being. Also had 0 turnovers tonight.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. 0 turnovers tonight. I think he only had 1 yesterday.
Yeah,
despite some of the shakiness there early.
Exactly. And he was 2 for 8 from the floor today and 5 for 15 yesterday. I am not too concerned about that. Like, I think he'll shoot it better in certain games. Mm-hmm. I also just like the shot attempts. I thought he made pretty good decisions for the most part. Yeah. And he's pretty good defensively.
Yeah. Let's see. Another super chat. This is interesting from Derek. He says, is it me or do Furloff and Big O look great together? So we were surprised to see that combination out on the floor together. That's when we realized that they weren't going to put Mapera back in the game. So we looked over at the bench, and then he winds up going back to the locker room, I guess, to get evaluated or whatever. So that is an interesting combination. You can make it work because Furloff is a guy who can space the floor and knock down threes. Like offensively,
so close to
knocking down that three. I know it was in and out, man. Offensively, it works. Defensively, it can get a little bit shaky depending on what the other team's power forward looks like. Because I know some people will say, well, yeah, Ilya can play. He can play the 4 for you. And you say that because he's offensively skilled. He's a good passer out there. He can knock down the 3, so you're not going to be too clunky. But defensively, guarding out on the perimeter, that's something he's got to work on, him and Caleb both. So I liked a lot of the things that we saw from him. I think that's a group that, surprisingly enough, can rebound fairly well. Those 2 guys, also surprisingly, I guess on Ilya's standpoint, maybe the 2 most physical that they've had in there in the paint so far, willing to play that way. Yeah. Not saying Ilya is the strongest, but he doesn't shy away from playing with some toughness down there. But yeah, that was an interesting combination. And hey, Caleb had a really good game. And once again, it was nothing crazy with Ilya out there, but I like the minutes that he gave. He made some mistakes. He let some rebounds, gave up an and one. There's some moments here and there, but he's diving for loose balls and forcing turnovers on the jump ball, getting some tough rebounds in there. I just kind of like that he's got a little bit of an edge to him and a motivation to go out there and kind of prove some of the narrative about him wrong. And it's got a ways to go, but I've been impressed with him the first couple games.
I have, and I think the staff has probably been pleasantly surprised by him as well. As we heard Kenny Payne say as much. And he's another guy where if Ilya Frolov is not ready to go, okay, there's 5 other dudes in that front court. You get Mika Mirinen back. It kind of takes a little bit less pressure. In fact, I was kind of thinking, going off the question, by the way, the on-off splits do not agree that they look great together. I will say that was the worst stretch that Arkansas had in the game was whenever those guys, in terms of just difference in, that's whenever, what's the name of that team? Not Cambridge. Carleton. That's when Carleton kind of made their runs.
Cambridge
was when those guys were out there on the floor. I also don't think that's a combination you're going to see very often. But in this situation, try some different things out, see some different combinations together, get both of those guys as much experience as possible because they both can use it.
From William says, y'all think Wilkerson has the potential to be our best overall player? Dude's a problem on defense and offense. Billy type energy, but more skilled. Will he be the best player? I don't know, man. Like Jordan Smith Jr. exists. Mika exists, who we haven't seen yet, but could he lead Arkansas in scoring? I think that's something he's do. Could he wind up being your most important player because of the 3-point volume and some other things? Oh, yeah. He absolutely could. I think Arkansas's got a lot of options. I think this might be a group that's really balanced. So could be a night to night thing. And I liked what Chen said after the game about they're probably not going to have anybody who averages 20 or 25, but any given night, they probably got a handful of dudes who could give you that. And Wilkerson's absolutely one of those. And you saw that in this game. I love that he's one of those guys where you step across half court and he's already in range to knock down a 3. And he just attracts so much attention that it does open up those driving lanes, those double gaps for some of those downhill guys. And yeah, I like that they're demanding more out of him defensively. He was a steal merchant at Georgia and he would gamble and he'd get in some passing lanes, but there were other instances where he would struggle, right? So I like that they're making him take more of an emphasis on that end of the floor. He's so quick and he's got a strong upper body, and I like him getting the steals and everything. I also like him being that pest who can pick you up and guard 94 feet. And it's going to be annoying and difficult on an offensive player and a ball handler. And if you're not dealing with him, you're dealing with Jordan Smith Jr. It's just a completely different animal with the way that he guards. There's a lot of potential on that end of the floor as well. But yeah, I'm a big Wilkerson fan. Appreciated transfer in the country, and he didn't really take the bait, but I like that he just kind of said, people can say or think whatever they want to about me, but I'm just going to go out there and play basketball. Yeah. And you kind of wonder if that stuff motivates him because he really was a great get for Arkansas, and I think he fits what they're doing quite well. And
again, he's at a press conference. He knows he's supposed to say the right answers. Every single question we asked him about himself, he first answered about the team. Hey, how good was it to have 26 points tonight? Well, we won the game, so that was awesome. Getting a huge win. We're out here in the Bahamas. Good team win and all that. Hey, what do you think about John Rossi and saying you're the most underappreciated? We're going to go out there and we're going to win. We're going to play team ball. I like that stuff, and I think definitely, again, I think you nailed it. Will he be the best player on the team? I don't know, and that's a conversation, frankly, unless it's very obvious, like a Darius Acuff, it doesn't interest me, sitting here being like, is he the alpha? Is he the winner? It's like, whatever. I do think he's going to be as important as anybody. And you can tell all the guys respect his leadership a little bit. We haven't gotten to hear from him. That was the first time I've heard him speak. You could tell JJ looks up to him. They all respect him a little bit. I think he's a very important voice in that locker room. And he's clearly a very important presence on the floor.
Rumor has it he's a funny guy too.
Yeah. There was a point in the press conference where JJ was like, oh man, that's the best feeling. And that's the best feeling I've ever had or something like that. And Jeremiah says, ever? Best feeling ever? They always mess with each other in the press conferences, which I love.
Yeah, it's a fun group, man. It really is. It's awesome to be down here. And so kind of a good segue, actually. Jeremy says, keep up the great work. Proud to hear you guys during the post game. Woo Pig Suey. Yeah, thank you for that. It's good to be out there. We've been doing this for years, but we switch from writing to doing this kind of stuff, change things. And you guys know that we had to kind of earn our stripes or whatever and check some boxes to be able to get back in there and be back on the with the guys on the beat and everything. So it's nice, man. It feels good to be back in there and appreciate the U of A. They've been awesome with the access and everything since we've been down here. But yeah, it's nice.
By the way, we might get it revoked because I did a little thing tonight.
I was hoping you'd bring this up.
I sure hope I get a T-shirt. So
listen to this.
We get into the press conference and the guy who's running it, and I forget, Andre's the one guy. I can't remember this guy's name, but he was like, "Hey, we got a test for you guys." He's like, "There will be a prize to whoever asks the best question." And he was like, "If you can get the term hot dog into your question, you'll get a free Baja Mar basketball T-shirt." I think I'm starting. He did say later, he was like, maybe I can do this, but he said it, and I was like, "Are you serious?" Because I will absolutely do this. So I asked Jeremiah Wilkerson and JJ Andrews a question, and I don't even remember what I said, but I mixed hot dog.
Hot dog, we're in a war here. Hot dog, this is a tight game.
I was like, yeah, did you ever get to a point early in the first half when it's close and it's like, hot dog, man, we're in a tight game? And neither of them laughed, which I appreciated that they didn't make fun of me. I couldn't even look them in the eye. I was dying laughing. So if you watch the player press conference, like, who the hell is asking that question and why did he say hot dog? Just know I got a free T-shirt out of it, or at least I hope I will.
It was exactly who you would think it would be, if in case you were wondering. That was good stuff, man. Appreciate someone's on member for 14 months, man. It's crazy how these things continue to. We're gonna be doing 2-month or 2-year anniversaries here pretty soon. It's nuts. From Trent, he says, "Seems like people that are panicking over the 5 are ignoring the dogs we have at spots 1 through 4. I think our perimeter defense is going to help our post defense so much more this year." It absolutely will. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly going to be a big factor of this. And it's like the two things can be true at once. Like that, it's not going to be as big of an issue as it was last year because you are significantly better at all the other spots. I would also remind people, Mika Murinen has not been out there yet, and he might be your best player. And it's another very athletic, very mobile, mean, tough SOB who's going to play the 4. And he's going to be a part of that front court. It's like Arkansas is always going to have
some too.
Right. They're going to have multiple 7-footers in there. So at least let's wait and see what that looks like when that ingredient is added to the mix here. So I understand that. But yes, they can be much better at there. And the people panicking at this massive overreaction, it's 2 exhibition games. But can you look at it and say, I'd like to see Cooper be just a little tougher and more assertive in there than he has been the last couple games? Sure. Absolutely. That's okay. Wish that Caleb Arrigo was further along than he is right now. He's still raw, but man, he's got so much potential. We'll give it time with both of those guys, and let's see what we wind up having here. And because this is your team. And then also when you have Mika back, we talked about this a little bit earlier. When you have Mika back, you got him at the 4. We know has JJ Andrews. You guys think he's earned some minutes? Well, Billy Richmond and Abdu Tor, those guys exist too. So how many is he going to get to 3? He's going to be playing quite a bit of small ball 4 in there. Most of those minutes are going to be taken. So if I'm a pair maker, I'm thinking, man, can I fit into that mix at the 5? So who's going to emerge? How quickly will they develop? How quickly will it come along? We don't know. But it might be a situation where you got 4 different dudes who are rotating in and out there, and you just kind of figure out and play the hot hand on a given night. I imagine that it's going to sort itself out though. Somewhere closer to the season once we're in the season. Remember, it's August. Some of these guys just got here.
I think a big part of the paranoia, one, obviously, Arkansas last year, their front court sucked. And their front court is basically what that side of the paranoia, I completely understand. The idea of, hey, the guy who is starting at the 5, Cooper Bowser, hasn't looked great. I don't, is he going to get better? Is he going to be good enough? I understand that even. But I think a big facet of it is people think it's like it's a finished product, that it's too late. We have this huge glaring issue and we have no way to fix it. Well, I can think of a few different ways to fix it. One, the best player in your front court, Mika Murinen, playing basketball will certainly help. Caleb Arrigo, who might be your second best front court player. He's been a college athlete for like 9 days. I think Chin said he was with the team for 4 days before they made the trip. He is also going to get better. Cooper Bowser, by the way, who we had heard from Z, struggled a little bit at the beginning of practice when the team first opened up, and then he got better. Is he allowed? Maybe he's not allowed to get better because he is an older guy. He's 21 years old. I think Cooper Bowser's allowed to get better. We'll see about that. A pair maker, a very young, interesting player who we're very impressed with. Hope he's going to be okay. I think he's going to be back in action for Arkansas Monday. He's allowed to get better. Ilya Frolov, he's allowed to get better. Paolo Samito, who's not even playing right now, he's allowed to get in there. That's how you fix your issues, is you get better, which they didn't have last year. I think the idea that it's like this is a glaring issue that can't be fixed, I think is a little bit overblown, particularly when your best front court player has not stepped foot on the floor yet.
Yes, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. By the way, it's come to my attention that John Neighbors has been locked out of the convention center. If anyone is at the Baja Mar Resort and you're tuned into the show, please let John back in the convention center. Buddy, we're wrapping up in the next 15 minutes or so, and then we'll come and save you when we get a chance. That's tough scenes. Hairless Hog says, appreciate the super chat. Big O 2.0, Caleb looking nice. I think Caleb looks mean.
He looks nice. Yeah, I'm going to say. He looks, dude, there was a point, because, where we're sitting, when Arkansas, in the first half, when they're on defense, we can see all of their faces where we're sitting. Caleb is not, if he's defending you and you have the ball, that is a scary sight. We were about 12 feet away from it. Man, he does not look like a freshman at all. And I can't stop thinking about what this dude's going to look like as we get further into the season. I think Chin said today they want to play him more, because they want to know more about what he's about. This is their first time watching him play in real game action. They are still figuring him out. He's still figuring them out. For him to not be making hardly any mistakes out there is really impressive.
Yeah, that's good to see. He's only going to get better and better too. The one thing that I would like to see more with him, and it's not on him as much as it's just kind of getting a feel with his guards and everything. What impressed me the most about him on the UIBL is he does a lot of his work early. And so really good at timing, positioning, sealing, and getting position on his man underneath the rim, or, if you're rolling off of a ball screen and the ball's reversed, and just kind of turning on him and sealing him underneath the basket, and getting that post entry to where you catch it and you go straight up and you finish. And you don't have to do the back to the basket moves and turning over the shoulder where you're getting jump balls or having to rely on the hook. And if he can incorporate a little bit of that into his game now, easy buckets and the rest there. But yeah, him having 10 and 6 in this game and going 5 of 6 from the field was good to see. And even though you could still see a lot of the rawness there, he's going to be a beast, man.
I low key, maybe my favorite moment of the game was when he got called for that offensive foul, when he elbowed that dude right in the gut, and then they called him a foul. And I was like, man, that was awesome. I loved it. I was like, I kind of want my bigs to get fouls like that.
Yes.
It was just nice to see a 5-man for Arkansas want the basketball and want the contact. It's just a novel concept.
I love it, man. From Derek, another one. Wow, thanks, man. He says JSJ is a Swiss Army knife. It's awesome. Or JSJ is Swiss Army knife of awesome. Sorry. When JJ Andrews learns that he can lower his shoulder and get to the rim like a freight train coming down the lane, he will live at the line. Torrey is Billy with a shot.
Hey, I'll give JJ Andrews a lot of credit, because I think he had maybe 4 points in the first half. Like, he was quiet. And again, he's not a guy that like Arkansas runs offense through where it's like, oh, he needs to score 10 points every half or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he was just kind of quiet. And I think I said to you, man, I kind of want to see him pop off a little bit in the second half. And boy, did he pop off. He wound up, he goes.
It's 17.
Yeah, he had 17 points on 6 of 9 shooting, had 6 rebounds, had a block shot as well. Like,
hit another 3.
Hit another 3 as well. He's going to continue. I would say borderline every single game this year, I bet JJ Andrews hits a spot, feet set, spot up 3. I thought the way that he let the game go play bully. I'm just going to the rim. I don't care what happens. I don't care who meets me there. I'm going to the rim. There could have been more fouls called in this game, but I thought JJ did a really good job of that. Him and Abdu, their efficiency. We haven't talked about Abdu at all. Their efficiency has been really impressive to me.
6 of 8 from the field. Abdu Torrey, 15 points again. He was 3 of 3 from 3. Man,
he's special, man. He really is special.
He's really good.
We knew he was good. He has performed way better than we thought he was going to. And
he's not even being serious yet.
Yeah, no.
He's going to be really good. Walla Hog says, thanks for your coverage. Looking forward to what I hope is a magical season. We all hope so. Yeah. It's a really good team, and there's going to be bumps along the way. They've got things they're going to have to figure out. Anytime you have a team with this much youth, it's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster, but it should be a heck of a lot of fun. The talent is undeniable. A lot of big personalities on this team. It should be a really fun team to cover, and I'm looking forward to the journey, however long it may go. And hopefully it's further than it has been the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
we've got Bo in here. Bo says, "Have y'all heard anything about a schedule change? Cal said we're playing Dominican on Tuesday while Brad is coaching during the broadcast."
They're supposed to play on Tuesday, not against the Dominican. If they do play against the I don't know, but they're playing somebody Tuesday.
Yeah, interesting. We will check on that, and if we get a little bit of clarification, we'll let you know. Thanks for bringing that to my attention because I had not actually heard that at all. That's interesting stuff there. From Kingsley, he says Carleton U, Carleton Banks, Carleton Fisk, Carl Winslow, Carl Lewis singing the national anthem. Carly, Hogs in 4.
By the way, you know who low key. This is a great chat, by the way, Kingsley. You're the man, and we appreciate this. Carleton Safa should have gotten a nod in here. There was a point where we were walking into the resort, and Curtis said to me, "Man, I wonder if we'll see Carleton today." You know, meaning because we hadn't seen Carleton's basketball team around the resort at all, and for some reason, I just thought you were referencing Carleton Safa, and I was like, "Is he here?" I was like, "Our guy Carleton? I didn't even know he was here, man. Yeah, I would love to see him, man. I would love to get him a drink." And you were like, "No, I mean the basketball team that we're playing today. That's who I was referring to." I'm like, "Oh, sorry, my bad."
Oops. All right, just a handful more, and then we'll wrap it up for the day. And yes, we can see when we go in and out a little bit. Fortunately, it's only happened a couple times, but we had to pivot last minute, so we're not able to hook up to Ethernet, and we're at the mercy of the Bahamas and their Wi-Fi. But for the most part, I think it's been pretty good. So thank you. Anyway, from Strippiest Wig says, "Can you guys comment on development of the 4 and 5 spots moving forward after a really limited sample size?" I think we've mostly covered this by this point, but I really want to see what the Mika dynamic looks like. They're really excited about him. Chin Coleman brought him up unprompted and was like, "I don't know if you guys have heard what we've been saying about him."
No,
but
not sure what you heard about Mika, but he's good.
He's got the goods, man. So I personally feel like it's going to wind up being Mika and JJ. I think they're going to wind up taking a bulk of those minutes there. And then, I think you got between Cooper Bowser and Caleb and Ilya and Maper, you put together 40 minutes. And if after 2 games, if you had to ask me, I'd say I'm really excited to see what Caleb's going to look like 3 months from now when the season starts. He's probably going to get a lot better there. But we can be, expect or want or hope for a little bit more than you've gotten these couple games from Cooper, but he's going to play. He's going to be involved there, and he's going to be all right. Better days are coming for him. I promise you that. And I'm just really interested to see how it shakes out with these other guys. Maper, he's, I don't want to oversell it, but he feels a little bit undeniable to me. It's in far of he's got to be a guy who's going to be on the floor, and you just got to figure out where that is. So maybe it's a few at the 4, maybe it's a few at the 5 in there. I know that they said they like to put more at the 5, and they played them all at the 4 yesterday. So I think he's probably going to factor into that, but it's definitely we'll walk out of here and it's going to be unsettled because you got to figure out some things there at the 5, but also Mika is he's such a huge piece to what they're doing here. It's hard to even wrap your head around it without him out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and let's quickly do some mathematics here real quick. Walk with me.
Okay.
80 minutes is what you need out of your 4 and 5 spots in any given game, right?
Uh-huh.
80 combined minutes. Mika Murnin, pretty good, we agree. He is going to play 25 to 34 of those minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That counts for like a third of them right there. JJ Andrews, he'll play some at the 3, I'm sure. He might even play some at the 2. He will play some at the 4. Let's say he spends 12 minutes at the 4 per game. So now you're up into kind of the 50-ish range. Cooper Bowser, I don't know how many he's played here lately. Maybe he's not going to be this everyday starter, awesome guy. Let's say he plays 15 minutes at the 4 or the 5. You split those minutes a little bit. Caleb Arrigo, who we all like. We all want to see him continue to grow and evolve. He played 18 minutes today. I think that's a pretty good number. Let's say he plays 18 minutes per game. You start thinking about it, we're damn near at 80. Add myself to the stage. Are we here? Are we good? we're just gonna raw dog this one. No mics, no nothing. We're gonna speed through the chat real quick with what we had left because obviously, internet is what it is. Which, by the way, we apologize for at the beginning. Don't hold it against us. We got Jules from Hayden Ulmer, our guy. Appreciate you for not spoiling Spider-Man for me. I appreciate that a lot. We got our guy Stripiest Wig, who gives us a super chat. Okay, I'm good. We're going to keep doing it here. Okay. Our guy Stripiest Wig, appreciate the $10 super chat. My semi-annual contribution to the boys. Do I watch too much IA? Who can say? Enjoy yourselves, fellas. Hey,
you're a real sicko if you're watching after all this.
I mean, truly, yeah, you absolutely are. You want to know who could contribute at the 5? Stripiest Wig, very large individual. And I mean that in a positive way. I think he could contribute and give us good minutes at the 5 is what I mean by that. We got Happy Poop from Filthy Tom.
Great.
By the way, we're looking for a spot to go to dinner because obviously we're hungry right now. We got to go eat after this. There is a place. What did I say the name of it was? That's right down the street. It's called Poop something. Not Poop Store. Poop. You know what I'm talking about? There's a seafood place like right down the road from us called maybe Poop Shelf. Poops. You can look this up. This is real information. I'm not making it up. There is a restaurant in the Bahamas called Poop something, and this reminds me of that a little bit.
Fair enough. All right.
What else do we have, Curtis?
Let's see. We got just a few more. Let's go with Ryan here. He says, bro, Jordan Smith Jr. is going to be so fun to watch against Tyler Tanner.
Tyler Tanner doesn't
He's going to listen. I love Tyler Tanner. I think he's a really, really good player. He's a fun watch. Jordan Smith Jr. is going to have him in absolute hell.
Yeah. By the way, it's Poop Deck at Sandyport is the name of it. Poop Deck. That is a restaurant in the Bahamas. Poop Deck.
You weren't lying.
No, I wasn't lying. That's what I was like. I was looking for options. I was like, you want to go to the Poop Deck? What's up?
Right. And just going back to what we were talking about earlier, and just kind of the point that I was trying to make, Trey here says, and I wasn't listening to the broadcast, so I'm taking your word for it, but said that Cal shut that stuff down on the broadcast about, all these guys getting their extra fifth year and everything. He said that teams will get older and ours won't. They like their team, man. They're going to go to war with these guys, so we might as well embrace it. And I don't think that's that much to ask because they're really, really good, and it's going to be a fun team to watch for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It happened earlier where we were talking about the Mika situation, and this was not even on the show. But, we talked to the people, we got sources and all this, and they feel very confident about the Mika situation. And we're chatting about it on the Discord, and there's a guy that's just like, I'm glad the staff feels good about it, but I'm very concerned. And it's like, okay, you can feel that way.
It's fine. Yeah.
Similar situation here where it's like you can disagree with the staff's, methods. You can say they're doing everything all wrong. Maybe they are. We'll find out. But it's like the idea that they're going to like change their minds right now, or that like we the fans could change their minds. I just don't think that's happening.
Yeah, agreed. Let's see.
Actually,
go ahead.
Super chat from William Morledge. I don't know if there was a follow up. I hope we didn't see it.
But we appreciate it nonetheless.
Yes. I like this from Filthy Tom, our guy. He says,
well, there we go.
Don't want mercenaries.
We'll get back to you, Filthy Tom.
Yeah.
Anthony Black Fan Club says, don't want mercenaries. Cooper Bowser is literally a portal mercenary. Haha. No, he's not. Actually, he's literally not. He came over as a senior. He is one who was granted the 5th year.
Yeah.
He gets that. And that's what everyone who is in his exact same situation
also,
does.
isn't Cooper Bowser 21?
Be a 2-year guy, and he's a 21-year-old.
Yeah. Who's an actual true senior.
This is not, oh, shit, we realized our roster is not any good, or we struck out in the portal, but all of a sudden we've got a judge who's making everybody eligible, and so we're going to go out here and get guys to save a job or to save a season or whatever.
He was the first portal get of the offseason.
The first one that they got.
It was a very completely different situation.
Yeah.
Also, Anthony Black Fan Club would like to know, how can we definitively say Mika is good?
What's your deal?
I mean, we can't definitively say anything, but like we're evaluating the basketball team. We're here, we're with the coaches. We watch him in practice.
How can you?
He's been scouted by all the best guys in the world. Everyone agrees he's good at basketball. That just happens to also be our opinion. And your opinion can be that he's not good. Maybe he won't be good. Maybe he'll suck. But it's like, I don't know what we're doing. What is the point here?
Anthony Black Fan Club. Why the sourpuss, man?
Yeah.
cheer up a little bit. It's 2 40, 50-point exhibition wins, man. Life is good. This team's solid, man. Believe in something.
It's 8:45 p.m. Central Time on a Saturday, and the Hogs just beat some Canadian dudes by 1,000 in the Bahamas. They're 2-0 in the exhibitions. Why are you pissed off at us? Like what? Like why are you wasting your time on God's green earth being mad at us for saying Mika Miran is good at basketball? And that Arkansas isn't going to add a big, which isn't even like an opinion. That's just like a fact of the matter.
Apparently, it's what John Calipari literally said an hour ago. So.
Well, we'll end on a nice one here because our guy Filthy Tom, who we've had our fair share of beef with, by the way, he says, "I like Caleb O's mean streak. He will foul out often, but it's nice to see a big that plays angry. He will foul out often. This is a fact. Because if we're talking about how many minutes he's going to play, the fouls are going to be a factor. You know who also is going to foul out of games? Jordan Smith Jr., who, there were a lot of times where I thought Arkansas could have gotten a foul call. Jordan Smith Jr., there was like 7 different occasions where he was grabbing – the guy was running away and he had his jersey in his hand, and they didn't call it, okay. I think there's going to be some games where maybe Davion has to play a little bit more because Jordan Smith Jr. has 3 fouls at the under 4 timeout of the first half.
Yeah, that would not it would not surprise me one bit if that wound up being the case. Have we made it through them all?
I think we have made them through it all.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, Kingsley does say they have a poop deck in Fort Worth too. Never been because poop isn't appetizing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's
hard to argue. It's a fair critique of it, but very very interesting stuff there.
All right. Well, should we let John back in the building now?
Yeah, we should go save John.
We're gonna go save John. Appreciate everybody for being flexible, for tuning in with us and hanging out the entire time. Again, you're down here in the Bahamas, man. We lost electricity and water for a long period of time there, so we're just kind of rolling with the punches here. And like we say, we're trying to be as quick as we can right after the press conferences. I had to move everything today, but we had a bunch of people who stuck around and hung out, and you toughed it out. You grinded it out with us, and we certainly appreciate everybody for doing that. So keep it locked with us here at Inside Arkansas. Make sure you subscribe to the Inside Arkansas YouTube channel. Find us wherever you find your podcast, Apple, Spotify, or anywhere that you listen. We're going to get out of here for now. For Andrew Ellis and Curtis Wilkerson and John, who is outside sweating, it's been the Pot the Palace and Inside Arkansas. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.